Hi, I'm Julie Thompson. Welcome to the Pembroke Select Board candidate interview. I want to take a moment to thank our candidate for participating in this interview and collaborating with PAC TV to bring this informational programming to residents and voters this election season. Let me explain the format. We will be conducting a one-on-one interview style Q&A format with each candidate, lasting about 30 minutes. Responses will not be timed, and follow-up questions may be asked during this format. We aim to ask up to about 4 questions, but that will depend on the length of responses along with any follow-up discussion during this exchange. Candidates will be allowed to address anything not covered or that they would like to add clarification to at the end of the interview in their closing remarks. Let's get started. Today we're speaking with Richard Flynn, one of the 3 candidates for 2 seats for the Pembroke Select Board in the Pembroke Town election. Richard, thank you very much for joining us virtually today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, we're going to get right into the questions. Question 1. The conditions of the roads in Pembroke are a constant source of discussion, debate, and of course, great financial implication. In 2021, the town hired a consultant to conduct an inventory and analysis of the road network, which was presented to the Select Board in January of 22. Most recently, the town Pembroke roadway capital improvement plan was discussed at the April 5th Select Board meeting. What are your thoughts on past and future plans and outcomes for pavement management?
Well, all right, we'll start with the past, and that is we didn't spend enough money on the roads. We kind of kicked this can down the road along with a few other things, and I'm not talking about the existing board. You let the roads go long enough, and more of them will pop up that need to be done, and then it puts a big burden on the town. So they are putting a good plan together, and expect to see some changes. It's going to cost us more than the state will give us in our Chapter 90 funds, but it is an investment in our town. And I go door to door, and everyone's talking about it. I'll go a little further on this. We have contractors that come and they do our roads, but there's no supervision of those contractors. And I would propose that we hire a contractor on site all day when these roads are being put down and make sure they're done per spec. And I think the contractor should pay for that engineer to be there for the day. So roads are a big concern, one of the biggest concerns I've heard going door to door. So that's how I feel about it.
Do you think that their capital improvement plan is effective? Will it be effective?
As long as the communication is there for the townspeople for what we need to do and what it's going to cost and when it's going to be done, and they can access that online, yeah, I think that that could be very successful.
Okay. Now, there's been talk in the past about the roads in Pembroke that aren't they're paper roads. They're not actually paved, or they're not considered part of the town roadway. Do you have any thoughts on whether those should be maintained by the town?
Well, they are. Even paper roads are somewhat maintained. If there's an incident down there, we have to get an emergency vehicle down there. Right. They are being plowed, and we could probably put that on a cycle and take a look at that, whether we can pave it or not. Sometimes you have issues with paper roads near ponds, and you can't pave them because it'll leach into the wetlands. But yeah, I'd be interested to look at that, because whether they're private roads or paper roads, we still have a responsibility to access those roads in an emergency situation.
Okay. So you agree that the condition of the roads is something that is an ongoing issue and needs to be looked at carefully and monitored all the time?
I think it's one of 3 of the biggest concerns of the town right now.
Okay. All right, let me go on to question 2. The Recreation Commission is an important component of our town. Pembroke is in the process of hiring a new director of recreation. What components of this position do you feel could or should be expanded, and how do you feel the new community center and all its potential programming will affect the range and the responsibilities that this position might have?
Well, it's going to be certainly multifaceted, because we have great fields on Mattakesett Street, and right now they're being maintained not by the town but by the association, and they're doing a fantastic job. I'd like to see that stay the way that is. I think that anybody coming into this position really needs to know what's working and what's not, and what our current needs are. And I think that's going to take a little bit of time, so that'll be a bit of a challenge. Every town is different.
If you were in this position, if you were the rec director, what are some of the things that you think you would want to bring to the town that we currently don't have?
Well, that would not be a position I would ever take, but I would tell you that I did get a great suggestion when I was door knocking about a dog park on the ball field behind the town offices. And there wouldn't be much to do to get that thing up and running. And I've made some calls already. It does have to go through recreation. We have to find out if that field is even being used. I mean, they're doing the work right next door. I'd love to tap into that construction vehicles and smooth out and get some parking in there. So that particular area would work very well, I think, for a dog park, and I think the town needs one.
Okay. And what are your feelings about the new rec building? The new community center.
Community center. I mean, we're already there. We already passed it. I wish we had taken care of the public safety building first, but we're up and running. I've been to the site numerous times. We have a great construction team there. They're doing a fantastic job. I mean, the town is growing and it's going to need a community center eventually anyways. So it's going to happen sooner than later. And I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, great. Question number 3, water. Its source, its delivery method, its purity, and its limited supply are all areas that have been and continue to be of great concern and great impact to the town. Water restrictions have become commonplace from May to September, and that trend is likely to continue. What plans or suggestions would you make for improving the existing water supply and rules of usage?
Well, I can't really talk about the rules of usage because they're mandated by the state. We have an infrastructure problem and we have to put a plan together. I did go into the water department to review a plan. There isn't a plan. People should be able to walk into that water department and look up behind them on a board and see when their street is going to be upgraded, fixed, something, because the brown water is happening to the same people all the time. And we have to look at that, and we're going to have to spend some money. It's another thing that the can has been kicked down the road, and water is very important. I mean, we've got drinkable water pumped into our house. It's a fantastic modernization, and we have to make sure it's quality. People see brown water coming out of their faucet, they get very concerned, and if they don't have any answers, they're going to get more concerned. So if we can put a plan together and acknowledge to people that we do have a problem and this is the plan to fix it, and this is where we're going to start, and this is how long it's going to take, and this is what it's going to cost, people will be okay with that.
And what do you think about our sources of water? What do you think about the whole Silver Lake at Brockton using a lot of the water from Silver Lake?
That's surface water. I would like to have more well water. I think it's better water. I think that we should potentially be looking for more well sites and taking care of the sites that we have. But I think the future is well sites and not surface water.
Okay, and for the homeowners that have actually spent the money to have wells drilled for irrigation, do you think they should have any restrictions on when they use that because they are actually tapping into the same aquifer?
That's a tough question. I don't know, because different wells have different depths and different pool areas. I mean, that would be really a geological study have to be made in this area or in this town to find out if it really is tapping into the sources that we use for our well areas.
Okay. All right. Question number 4. The Pembroke Public Safety Building has been in the works for many years. Originally, replacing both police and fire as separate projects was discussed. Now, a combined public safety building with an additional fire substation is as close to fruition as a yes vote at town meeting for the appropriation and then a required Proposition 2.5 debt exclusion vote on the ballot on May 13th at the town election. Are you voting yes or no on this project, and why?
I'm voting yes on the project. This is long overdue for many reasons. This is one of the things that we've kicked down the road for too long. You know, the fire station and the role of the fire department has changed. Their core mission before was to put fires out. Now it's expanded. They have to take care of gas leaks. We have fentanyl issues that they have to take care of. During the pandemic, they were extremely useful. They're a resource in our town. Everything that the police doesn't pick up, it goes directly to the fire. So they're multifaceted now. The police department, that building is antiquated. There's no doubt about it. We have federal and state mandates on certain things and procedures in the department that must be taken care of because we could get sued. And these aren't asks; these are mandates, such as juveniles being detained. They can't be detained near adults. We have issues with drug overdoses, and we have procedures to adhere to. And that building can't. It's just not the right building to do that. So I just think it's a mistake to keep the building that we have. We're going to have a potential lawsuit on our hands if there's an officer safety problem or a detainee problem.
And what do you think about the location of the proposed new safety building?
Well, I wasn't involved in that search part of it. I mean, the aspect I like about it is it can exit and entrance from two different streets, which will cut down on the need to for safety coming out in the middle of the street. I can't speak too much of the location, to be honest with you. I wasn't involved in that.
And what about the cost? I mean, this is coming on the heels of the town approving to build the the community center. What are your feelings about that?
It's very expensive. We know that. We can put this off, but it's going to be more expensive next year, and it's going to be more expensive the next year. This should have been done 10 years ago. The cost is a concern. It's a lot of money, and I do have concerns of the taxpayer because we do have other problems in town that need to be addressed after the public safety building. But it's going to cost us a lot of money to keep our existing stations, and more than it should. And I think that should be part of the equation as well.
So you're a definite yes vote on on this new station?
I'm voting yes.
Okay, great. Fifth question. Let's say a friend called you and said they were considering South Shore towns to move to, and Pembroke was one they were looking at. How would you describe the town for that friend, citing all the positives, but also the areas that you believe need improvement? And please be really brutally honest.
So Pembroke is located a decent distance away from the highway, which keeps us somewhat affordable, but also rural, which I love that aspect of Pembroke. People are really proud of this town, and they really, I mean, even we can talk about vote tech if you want, but as I go from door to door, people whose children have already gone through the school system are concerned about the kids today in school. And that says a lot about the pride in this town. But needs improvement, of course, you wouldn't know it until you moved in. But yeah, water is an issue. Roads are going to be addressed. The community center is a positive. We've got great fields. We've got a lot of open space, and our taxes are pretty good.
Do you think we have good communication in our towns? Do we communicate from the town hall, from our police and fire, from our schools? Do we have a good system to communicate to the residents?
I don't think any town does. I think people don't really pay attention until it really hits the fan. I think that if there's a better way, we should find it. I think as these committees move forward with projects, the most information they can put out to the public, the better. And, not everybody watches these selectmen meetings. So maybe there's another method that we could use there. Maybe some sort of monthly 10 minutes on the radio locally from the town manager just to kind of get people up to speed might be something interesting. But if we try different things, I think we'd find something that works.
Okay. And for your last few moments, talk about anything we didn't bring up, any subjects that you think are important for people to know, and why people should vote for you in the election.
Okay, so one thing we didn't talk about, which is the vote tech. I am for Pembroke entering into the vote tech school, South Shore vote tech. It's extremely important these days. I'm in the building trades, and the youth aren't coming up through these programs. We've been pushing them towards college, and now we have a deficit of workers, not only workers, but owners of businesses that we need. Computer technology, carpentry, automotive, plumbers, electricians, HVAC. We're in demand of these, and we really have to help our kids out because there is a demand with the students to go to these schools, and we just don't have that right now.
And there's a couple things on the table for that. One of which is obviously the school in Hanover, and then Silver Lake. Can you talk about what you would be more in favor of, South Shore Votech or trying to get back into Silver Lake?
South Shore Votech is I think it's the best school and best opportunity for our kids. So many towns have chosen them. They're going to put a large addition on, and they're going to be able to put a lot of students in there. They offer more courses, and I think it's far superior.
And what would be the cost to Pembroke to actually join that consortium of towns to be able to have students in South Shore Votech?
We're going to find that out. At town meeting, there'll be a vote, and that vote will be to assemble a committee, and that committee is going to put some numbers together, and it's going to go back to the townspeople and tell them exactly what that would cost to get into that.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, thank you so much. We'd like to
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for participating in the interview, and we wish you the best of luck throughout the campaign and in the election. For our viewers, thank you for joining us. If you're interested in watching replays of this interview, please visit our website, pactv.org, for replay times and online viewing options, including PAC TV's on-demand and streaming service, PAC TV Prime. And please make your choices heard by voting in the election on Saturday, May 13th. Thank you, and good day.